Pryor, and I'm with the Southwest Regional Business Podcast. We're here with Matthew Bricker of BBSI today, and this podcast is brought to you through Southwest Regional Chamber of Commerce. And a big shout out to the Upper St. Clair Public Access TV station for putting this together. Thanks, Mitch, back in the room right now. Just want to give him a wave. Hi, Mitch. All right, so Matt, thank you so much for coming on today.
You got it. Thank you for having me.
We made this podcast date at the coffee shop La Bella Bean a few weeks back here. So
big shout out to them. Great coffee.
Great coffee. Good job. Great lunch. Great everything. I love
Great
that.
Everything. Yes.
So Matthew. I don't know what to call you today, so I'm going to flip flop around.
I go by anything.
You know, that's the fun I get to have here. So tell me a little bit. Tell me first about you.
Sure. Yeah, so Matt Bricker, I'm with a company called BBSI. So I've been in the PEO space, if you will, since 2012, right, or the HR space since 2012. I have the pleasure of starting the marketplace here in Pittsburgh back in 2023 to be able to expand BBSI's brand in Western PA. We've actually ventured our way into Ohio recently by adding a couple of other individuals, which I had the pleasure of helping on board. But yeah, so I'm really happy to have a conversation with you today on about how we can help other individuals that are out there in the marketplace.
Good. And so tell me, what is BBSI?
Yeah, so BBSI.
It's a good acronym.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
BBSI, that sounds
and
important.
the letter B is very good, by the way, too. You know, since it's the same as my last name. But
yeah.
So yeah, BBSI, we're PEO. So people are like, what the heck is a PEO, right?
Sure.
It stands for Professional Employer Organization. So employers have the ability to co-employ with a company like us to be able to have access to our tools and resources. And they co-employ with us in a way where, let's just say they add an employee in another state or somewhere else in Pennsylvania where they don't know the tax laws and codes and things like that. We have, we're the fifth largest PEO in the country, where we're a $9 billion company, where we have the access to be able to set up employees in other different spaces because we have those tools and resources where the business owner doesn't know what to do at that point. So we help organizations focus more on their core business, right?
Yeah.
No matter whether if they're like a trucking company or a construction company or a company producing widgets, whatever they're doing, they can focus on that versus focusing on all these other different aspects.
And so you're primarily with like a small mid-sized business is your core client?
Sure, yeah.
And so what do they come to you looking for?
So good question. So it's one of those things where it's more of an education in the marketplace. We like to call Western PA a PEO light type of area, if you will, because PEO is pretty much started in Florida, actually did start in Florida and kind of worked its way around the country. So my goal is to educate individuals that are out there, because I would say probably about like 10% of the marketplace knows what a PEO is. So it's educating them.
Yeah, I was unfamiliar till today,
exactly.
So you're filling me in.
Exactly.
Very well educated after this.
So it's more of an education of what a PEO is and how it's very helpful for them. And we're not a one size fits all, right? So we have the ability to customize our program in order for them to make sure that we're doing the right thing to accomplish whatever they need for their business, whether it's a short-term goal or a long-term goal.
And so say I'm a trucking company and I'm coming to you. What would be 3 objectives that you would say a trucking company would be looking for in your business?
Yeah, great question. Because think about it, if you're a trucking company, what's the number one goal whenever that business owner started the company? They want to make money, right? It's just like almost any business. The first reason why they start a for-profit organization, of course, is they want to make money, right? So what do? They buy a bunch of trucks, and then all of a sudden they start shipping things. They go ahead and buy a bunch of equipment. They hire employees, and then a bunch of things get put on their plate, which is taxes, HR administration, things like that. They're like, oh crap, I got to do this. So I got to hire somebody to do this for me, or I can hire somebody internally to do it. Right, exactly. So, and that's where we come in to be able to help out. Take a look at their business, meet them where they're at, and show them different ideas of what we can do to help them streamline those processes. Because the goal is to free up their time in order for them to sell more contracts and actually, get more trucks on the road.
Well, and it's probably not their, there's so many things that I say I do well, and then there's the other things I'm like, well, you probably don't want me in charge of that, like bookkeeping. Don't put me in charge of that. But so you're having these business owners, and their thing is like, I worked in trucking for 15 years. I decided to open my own company. I know the background. I know how to find employees. I know how to do this, A, B, and C. But I don't know how to do C, D, E&F. So you would come in and kind of be that person to help with that without them having to hire like a full-time employee. So
Sure.
it's more of like a part-time work, like you're part-time within the companies helping.
Sure. Yeah. So it could be viewed either way. That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. So we actually help a lot of companies that have either a full-time HR person on site or a part-time HR person. And then there are a lot of companies that don't have the resources to hire a full-time person. So we have we have the ability to build the toolbox to whatever they're looking for to make sure that we're meeting them where they're at. Because let's just say they do have a full-time HR person. The worst thing that HR person is going to think of when they think of us, since we do HR as one of our things and they get a dedicated HR person, is like, oh no, I'm going to lose my job.
Yeah.
No, we have never made the recommendation to go ahead and have somebody, lose their job, because they're a huge resource to us to be able to get to what the company.
Information out of what's going on in the company and how you guys can help them.
Exactly, because we're able to help out from a tactical standpoint, a lot of different things that the HR person doesn't want to do, because that HR person is going to want to maybe focus more on the strategic aspects of HR, which is taking care of their people and different tools and programs where we can help out on other things that are in the background that they don't have time for. So we build things specifically from a payroll and HR standpoint first. That's what we like to call our core. And then we can add on different products and programs like workers' compensation and health benefits on top of that if they want to. But we can do whatever the company wants to do.
So you're fully integrated into their HR systems.
Correct.
To help them. Especially as businesses expand, sometimes, sorry, I have a little stuffy. These children with their illnesses this year, bringing them home.
Plus it's negative 10 degrees outside.
And it's negative 10, so I love this. It's part of my outfit today. It's
That's
just
right.
like adjusted nose. Where was I? So they started at a small company, maybe they have 5 trucks. And I don't know why I'm picking trucking. I know absolutely nothing about trucking companies. But say they start with 5 trucks and they're booked 24/7. Like these trucks are going in and out, and it's great. And they're like, we have to expand. They're bringing in the money they're looking at. They have room to expand. They don't know how to do that next step. So that's another way that you guys could come in and help them and say, okay, like I think a lot of what business owners lack whenever they're first starting is programs, systems.
That's correct.
Protocol, knowledge. So that's kind of where you would help.
Absolutely. So you're talking about growth. Growth is very important in our business because I would say pretty close to about 90% of our clients, and don't fact check me on that, it's a large amount of clients that they're in growth mode. They're not flatlining, or they're not going down. There might be some companies that are out there that might want to be able to sell the business to like another generation or to somebody else from a profit margin perspective. But if a company is growing, that's a very good client for us to talk to, because think about it. They started somewhere and they want to end somewhere. They're somewhere in the middle, and we want to find out where that is. And there's a lot of things that come up that they're not aware of, because it could be their first time starting this business and scaling it. And there's going to be things that come up throughout the way from the journey of a business where our team has seen all that. We've seen companies grow and get to that point where there's going to be things that are popping up. And guess what? There's things that are going to be added all the time, no matter what presidential plan is out there or anything like that. Every president's going to have different plans. Every government administrator that's local or state is going to have a different plan. Things are going to be added, and we're the ear to the ground in order for us to figure out all those different things, to curate that knowledge and share that with our clients to make sure they're aware of all these different things. Because again, what's the goal? For them to focus on what makes them money and focus on their goals. And we want to take that off of their plate to create more time for that.
We always want to hear that as a business. I'm not
Absolutely.
a business owner, obviously, but there's a lot on my plate. I call myself and laugh that I'm the HR right after. I'm like, well, I'm also the marketing director, and I'm also the, which hat am I wearing right now?
So let's face it, we all don't want to be in charge of HR. That would not be a good
No,
thing. Because we're
absolutely
not the
not.
subject matter experts. We don't have those degrees.
We don't have those degrees. We want somebody who has complete knowledge of what they're doing, especially in that role. I think that the bigger your company gets, the more employees you have, the more HR takes a big leap into having a significant role within the company and making sure it's running efficiently.
And you bring up a really good point, if I can add to that. So just as a personal sake, right? So you have a budget in your own household, right? Your household is pretty much like a business. So you have a certain amount of income, you You have a certain amount of things that you can spend money on. You can't go over that amount. You have to pick and choose different things on what you want to do to make sure it's efficient for your household. Like, for example, like how many of individuals looked at just TV in general? You actually have, different things like Hulu, you got like, YouTube TV, you got Comcast, you got all Peacock, you got Netflix. You're not going to buy them all. God bless you if you want to buy them all, but you're going to pick and choose different things that's right for you.
Yeah.
Same thing with us. You can pick and choose whatever types of services you want to offer
it's
your employees.
customizable.
It's very customizable, and it's based on the budget of the business owner, and it's based on what they're looking for, for their particular business. Just very similar to our households, where you want to make sure you're doing the right thing for yourself.
I know, it's one of the things that plagues me is Hulu, Peacock,
But-
Paramount. It's always
Yes,
in the
exactly.
sight line for me.
Yes.
But yeah, I think businesses definitely need help in there. And a lot of times, they want to cling, they love clinging to that extra income that's going into their business. But sometimes you can make more money by running things more efficiently because you're not losing your employees, or they're not getting frustrated with what they're doing, and then you have to rehire and retrain your employees to do the next steps. So,
And you bring up a good point about that too. I'm glad you brought that up, because what's the number one revenue generating source of your business? That is your employees. So if you actually have your employees that are there and they're firing on all cylinders, and they're not talking at the water cooler about different things that are going on that they don't like, if they're supported correctly and have all the tools that are there to get their job done, that's going to be profitable for the business. So if you have a few bad eggs in your organization because you don't have the right things set up within your organization, that's going to be not profitable for your business. And that's where we can come in to make sure that we have all the right things in line for their employees to get their job done, no matter what that business is.
yeah, and I mean, depending on how things have set up, you don't know how the business started. You don't know how the people in charge were discussed and hired, and the people under them. And sometimes that gets lost in translation, is they might not have had that role, but because they grew so fast, well, you're going to do this too. We're not going to have time to train you or send you off to learn anything. So we're just going to throw you into it, sink or swim, because I don't have time. I got to do 900 other things. So
You nailed it, because there's two things you brought up there. Companies that have employees that wear a bunch of different hats. We love those type of companies because, again, they have a budget and they can't hire a bunch of employees to do every single little thing. You're going to have to do a bunch of different tasks. We love those companies because that's what we can do to take that off their plate. And second of all, you brought up the idea of, I forget the other point you brought up, but
I don't remember now either.
there's a second thing you brought up in regards to the relationship to the growth of an organization. So the most important thing is meeting an organization where they're at and figuring out where they are. It's very rare, but it does happen where an organization is not a good fit for us. It's very rare, but it does happen where they're like, you know what, you guys are good. Maybe sometime down the road we can probably have a conversation. But I know you guys do. You're good referral for me to refer your business to, and vice versa. If there's somebody that's out there that needs help from these different things we talked about today, we'd love to have that conversation.
That's good. How did you get into this?
Good question. So
I like to throw him, he doesn't know what I'm going to ask him, so I'm just throwing it out there.
So yes, I was, we talked about this pre-video, is that I was born and raised here in Western Pennsylvania, but I relocated to South Florida, Miami, Fort Lauderdale area, if you're not familiar.
We were there the same time.
Right on the same time, didn't know each other.
Nope.
It's a big place, right? So I was down there, and my wife got her very first job from with the Miami Heat in the marketing department. And I had a teaching degree, and when I graduated, it was in December. Couldn't get into teaching in December because school already started, and I got into to selling telecom. So I got into sales right away, and I got in the bug of sales, got into telecom, and then one of the things that was a friend of mine had was an HR background. He worked for a couple different companies. He got me in the door with one of them, and that's where I'm at today. So it's just a matter of knowing the right people, getting in the right industry, and that's why I got sucked into it. It's a passion of mine because every single business needs what we have, pretty much. And whenever there's a need in the marketplace and you have the expertise behind it, it becomes a passion.
So your trajectory in life completely changed. But it's worked out for you. What were you going to
100%.
teach? What did you
I was
hope
going to
teach?
be, so I went to school at Penn State to be an elementary education major. So I was going to be a school teacher K through 6.
God bless those people.
I know, right? Exactly.
I
And
have
God
two
bless
little
them.
ones. I couldn't
Yeah.
imagine 20 in a room. Although
Yeah.
they seem to, crowd around and do what the other one does for the most
Absolutely.
part.
So every time I go to my kid's school, I always look at myself and like, that could be me.
Yeah.
Or that could have been me, I should say. Yeah.
Instead, here you are in
Absolutely.
glamorous
So I jumped.
South Hills area.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah.
Good.
So,
And so you mentioned earlier, we talked about health benefits a little bit. Can
Yeah.
you more expand on that?
yeah, thanks for bringing that up. So health benefits is a huge challenge in the country and mainly here in Western PA. There's two big carriers that are here in Western PA. It's Highmark and UPMC, and they both own their own networks. UPMC obviously owns UPMC. Highmark owns Allegheny Health Network, right? So business owners are challenged to pick which side that they want. Small, medium-sized companies, I should say. And that's usually the two main carriers, unless you want to do a different type of plan. So where we come in as a PEO, we have 128,000 worksite employees that are on our PEO. They have access to our group plan through Aetna. And Aetna is actually in network with both UPMC and Allegheny Health Network. So if they happen to partner with us on the PEO from a payroll and HR perspective and also workers' comp, they want to add on to that. Aetna is in network, and employers love that. It's like, oh my gosh, I have another choice. And they don't have to worry about paying health insurance based on the age. So every single employer that has health insurance that's fully funded, they actually have different rates per employee per age. So a 26-year-old can have a rate of $400, and the 55-year-old
cheap.
could be, right,
Yeah.
exactly. I'm just making up an example.
Mine's going up every year.
Right, and that's because you might be on an age-banded plan, so you have different rates per age, and it goes up based on how old you are, right? Our plan is flat rated based off of no age. So so whenever somebody's interviewing with an organization, they don't have to worry about eyeballing them like, okay, is their insurance going to be $800 or $400? You have no idea what their ages are because
That's
you can't, from a compliance standpoint, you can't ask somebody their age. So that's one huge benefit. If they partner with us, they would have access to that Aetna plan, which is in network, and it's also going to be cost effective because they don't have to worry about the age banded stuff.
Huh.
Interesting, right?
That is interesting.
Everybody gets really fired up about healthcare,
Yeah, well, it's expensive. It's a major expense, especially for employers
It is.
who are trying to take care of their employees, but it's expensive. And to have to choose between somebody with expertise and knowledge who might be in their 50s with, I don't know, diabetes 2, which is more prominent, I guess, in an older individual.
Absolutely.
They can just say, well, this person has expertise. We're not so worried about that now because it's a flat rate for all of these employees. So
That's correct.
They can go forward with it.
That's correct. And what's great about our program is that I don't have to be the person that presents it to clients. We actually partner with a lot of companies that are out there in Western PA. We partner with a lot of healthcare and workers' comp or property and casualty brokers. We have relationships with them. So it's another product for them to be able to offer, and I come in to help them out, and we can actually co-help the client, if you want to call it that. So that's why I like to see, if there's a new healthcare broker or property casualty broker in the area that I've never met with, it'd be a good conversation for me to have because that's another product that they can offer to their clients or prospects.
Well, I'll help you network that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
You gotta let me know these things.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we're talking today.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
anybody who you think might be a good person, that's part of your chamber membership.
Absolutely,
Anybody
yep.
in industries that might help you can help them. I think that's great. That's a great way
Absolutely.
to work together.
And it's always a good conversation to have with anybody because, we talked about our LinkedIn networks where we have a lot of different people that we know. And if it's not a good fit or if it's somebody that's at a non-decision making level, I'm always there to help them out, to be able to get them what they really need, whether it's they're looking for a new job or if they're looking to get into a specific company that I might know, it might be a client of mine or things like that. That's what's most important because that's what makes Pittsburgh so special, right?
It is.
It's a small community.
Small town in a big city.
That's right.
Or small, mid-sized city, right? Or mid-sized city.
Right. And we have pockets. We have North Hills, South Hills, East Hills, West
I mean,
Hills.
I don't discriminate against who joins me on my LinkedIn page.
That's
it's
right.
Like I have people in the North Hill. I mean, I'm from North Pittsburgh, so I have a lot of people that way. And then, I'm still going to add them. You never know who they know. It's Pittsburgh. You can be anywhere in the United States of America, and you're going to be like, there's that guy from Pittsburgh that
That's
we
right.
know. It's a small town. We know people who know people who know people. So
That's right.
which is great. And if you know,
And we
as you
use
know,
landmarks.
as you probably know, in South Florida that's a giant, enormous, sprawling area with you can get lost in it.
Oh yeah.
So you're not going to know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. That's not how that works, which is great about Pittsburgh and business that, you know a lot of people and
Absolutely. Yeah.
easy to expand.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So is there anything else that I didn't touch on today that I forgot to mention or bring up in our conversation that you'd like to know our audience to know or our members?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Southwest Chamber has been excellent for me. I've met a lot of people within the Southwest Chamber, all the different events that you host and the different fun things you do, the golf outing, things like that. It's been very helpful for me because I was born over here in Upper St. Clair, Upper St. Clair Hospital, or St. Clair Hospital, sorry.
Congratulations.
So yeah, thank you. So I like to be able to be close to home and be able to take care of the community and be able to service as much as I can. And Southwest Chamber has been a huge help for that. I don't even remember who invited me to be. Actually, it was I don't remember who it is.
It was Barry, wasn't it?
Might have been. Yeah.
Barry.
And a
Good
couple
job,
other
Barry.
people too. Yeah.
I've
Shout out to
been
Barry
down.
Bernazzoli. He's the man.
Barry, we see you out there.
That's
we'll
right.
tag you in this post.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, I think we met at Barry's group.
I think it was.
But it's been good.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you're getting stuff out of it. We'll continue, obviously, to help you. And hopefully you're coming to the annual meeting.
I will be there tomorrow, yes.
All right, then next week.
Or next week, I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been tonight.
I'm getting my weeks messed up. Yeah, it
Or
would have been
next
tonight,
week.
yes.
Yeah, we'll go over new benefits and everything like that for us too.
Absolutely.
But hopefully we could do some more stuff here in the future. And it's been great having you as a member and active. I think that's one of the things I look for in a member is, are they going to be active? Are they going to be, open to networking with other members? Is there a good business that's going to help other businesses?
Right,
Which
absolutely.
most of them are. I would say 90%. Don't quote me on that.
Don't fact check that.
Don't fact check that. A lot of good people, a lot of good businesses,
That's
and
right.
we love when you're active and part of it and want to network. I mean, that's the reason why we're here. So
Yeah, absolutely. I really appreciate you having me.
absolutely, we'll see you at our next week's networking event.
Absolutely, looking forward to it.
Good. Well, thanks to Matt Bricker for coming on today, teaching us a little bit about BBSI, how it can help your small and mid-sized companies progress in what they're doing and be successful. We hope you watch the next episode of the Southwestern PA Business Podcast coming up soon.